Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our GYST Podcast, where we help you get your together.
And then you've got the timer all good?
Yep, coming in ready.
Really need to get a clacker.
You're going to have 3 clacks to try and find.
Man. What?
You're going to have 3 clacks to try to locate.
I don't know what that means.
You just did that 3 times.
Oh, but the first 2 were really dull. Because it does it automatically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we ready?
Can we just do it like this?
Well, because that needs to pick it up too. So it's not just here. It's
okay. Gotcha.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moment of silence. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of your favorite podcast, the GYST Podcast, also known as Get Your
Shit
Together.
He got it right this time.
I had to write it down, so
What are you doing?
I was trying to hide this from
I
you.
just don't know why you didn't do that like a long time ago.
I know. So,
You have a gigantic whiteboard here.
so the people who are watching this on YouTube, I always mess up, so I had to make myself a little cheat sheet right there.
On the whiteboard.
On the whiteboard, which is what Sam was trying to cover up. So, for those of you who are listening via podcast and have no idea what I'm talking about, check out our YouTube channel.
Hey, you have a YouTube channel?
We do have a YouTube channel.
Am I the only lazy ass sitting down right now?
Yes.
Yep.
Good.
Well, you sitting down is still like average height for Sam and I.
Yeah. So it's leveled off.
I'm efficient.
Yeah. We're good.
So why do start this podcast off
By saying who we are, that would be a great idea.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Thanks, Sam. I didn't write that part down. I need to write that down too.
We'll get it down one of these days.
It's only a year and a half.
I mean, shit.
So with you, I am one of your co-hosts, or one of your hosts, Rohit Rohila.
Kyle Reed.
I'm Sam T.
And Kamal Collar.
I'm in part of the mic.
On the mic.
You missed that, didn't you?
No, I did not.
You just wanted to do it.
He's
It's
not
okay.
saying
All
that.
right.
So a bit of a serious note. This is the first podcast we're recording after a passing. Chester Bennington of Linkin Park. Linkin Park was one of the first real concerts that I went to. Loved their music because it had that feel good, like screaming and yelling. The lyrics are really what got me.
Mm-hmm.
And just such phenomenal lyrics. And so it's, I think everyone knows now that he passed away by hanging himself via, a suicide. And it's important, if ever you, I'm just tossing this out there. If ever you guys need to speak to any of us, like, we're not qualified, but if you feel more comfortable talking to one of us, just please do it. Like, all of us, you can find our emails, at like Sam at, Gummel at Kyle, at myself at GYST Podcast, or reach out to someone because
Real talk.
it affects not just you. If you think about how you would feel, the hurt you would feel, the loneliness, sadness you would feel if someone that's close to you passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just them passing away. When they commit suicide, I can only imagine that it's just that much more gut-wrenching. So everybody, and we're all loved.
And there's hotlines, and there's websites, and there's links that you can actually go to for situations like that also. Like you said, we aren't professionals at this here, and sometimes we go a little too far on certain things. But there are actual professionals that are out there that will be able to help you out.
Yeah.
For sure.
So just wanted to state that out. And Chester, thank you for some amazing lyrical work and microphone skills.
And Chris.
Great music.
Chris who?
Chris Cornell. He passed away just a little bit before Chester.
A few months ago.
Who is a really good friend of Chester.
I don't know who that is.
He is the lead singer for Nine Inch Nails.
Oh.
So
I heard
he
about
passed
that a
away
while ago.
via suicide
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
And then Chester, unfortunately, went the same route,
Man.
sadly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so rest in peace to both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ready to record this episode, fellas?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
So, today, ladies and gentlemen, when we first started this podcast, it was all about GYST, which stands for Get Your...
Shit.
Together.
I was waiting for him to just say it.
I was hoping he would.
And he wasn't going to do it.
Whatever.
One day. We got to trick him.
Almost got him.
Whose side are you guys on?
I just want you to stub your toe. Step on a Lego.
Yeah.
I don't have any Legos.
You damn lie.
Oh, really?
Whatever.
You have a closet full of them.
It's true. Yeah, so with that in mind, we do a lot of fun episodes. We do a lot of, like, last week's was pet peeves, things that drive us nuts and stuff like that. But every now and then we touch on an episode that really is geared around getting yours together.
Right.
Clearly they haven't gotten their shit together.
You're listening?
Go ahead.
See, now everyone on YouTube will know how much of slackers you guys are.
Really?
I forgot we were recording.
Like, how many times do you guys, like, grab each other and things like that? Like,
It's just to express our love.
We're going to put a sensor on the video. Like,
Go ahead, man.
GYST.
All right.
Oh, man.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So today's all about finances. So what does it mean? How do you what are some tips and tricks to really start getting stuff together? The thing is, the majority of us live under one rule when it comes especially to finances, and that's that ignorance is bliss. Right?
I'll tell you how many times I avoid looking at my bank account after a night of drinking.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I'll wait till Monday.
With this guy. With this guy.
Sunday there's still room.
Reason why I got this belly.
Yeah, can we show that off to the audience on YouTube?
They saw it
Just
already.
Go ahead. No, go and pull your
Oh,
shirt up.
no. That's later.
I'll give you Zerbert.
That's If you watch the Cosby Show, you'll get it.
I do. I love the Cosby Show.
I Zerbert you.
Yeah.
So you haven't
Like a
watched
raspberry?
it? Sure.
A raspberry is what these fools gave each other on the picture last week.
No, that's not raspberry. That's a nipple twister.
We're going way
Nipple
off topic
twisters,
here.
raspberry?
Look
Anyway.
up Zerbert
Yeah,
on Cosby
okay.
Show. You'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
I was known
So,
raspberry.
a lot of people...
At least you got it.
I got it.
A lot of people live under the rule that ignorance is bliss, right? And they figure if they don't pay attention to it, as long as they're okay, that's good enough. But the majority of the money that we have that's being spent is to impress other people. So think about it, if you just bought a house and it's all empty, you're going to want to get, a big TV. Why? The bigger, the more impressive it is.
Nice furniture.
Yep.
Exactly. So you are spending money to try to impress other people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I really like is the term poor versus broke. Now, a poor person, that's conditional. That's what you are born into. That is 100% conditional. But when it comes to being broke, that's different because that's a mindset. That's a situation. And you can climb yourself out of that. That's a mentality. So if you take your paycheck and before you know it, you're racking up credit card bills. If you even have credit card bills, that's broke. That's situational. So a fantastic exercise that I learned, and I'm going to make reference to several books that I've got on finances. One is Creating Wealth by Robert Allen. I actually was fortunate enough to meet Robert Allen, and I can tell you he's a lot taller than me.
Most people are.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you guys. This is, whenever someone talks about personal development or they ask for recommendations, this is number one on everyone's list.
Okay.
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
And that's more about, when it goes back to being poor versus broke and the broke mentality, that's what he talks about. In my seminars, I don't say broke mentality, I say poverty consciousness, because really that's, your subconscious is really what drives you. It's those decisions that you're making that you don't even think about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got a poor, not a poor, but a broke mentality, if you're poverty conscious and that's where you're operating from, you're going to have more expenses at the end of the month than you do money coming in.
Okay.
Money is My Friend for the New Millennium by Phil Lott. This is a favorite of mine. You're Broke Because You Want to Be by Larry Winget. The reason why I think people really like Larry Winget is because he's just in your face honest.
Okay.
The title is You're Broke Because You Want to Be. Another book of his that I like is
Damn, I thought it was real cash.
that people are idiots and I can prove it. You know, so he's got some phenomenal stuff. Conversations with Millionaires. I mean, these are the kind of books you need to start reading. You know, if you think all these are interviews with millionaires, that's phenomenal. And then Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, phenomenal. One of the cornerstones of the financial world. But in these, one of the things that I really gathered was in Larry Winget's "You're Broke Because You Want to Be." And what he does is he has an exercise where he has you on paper write down the amount of money you have coming in, right? So this is your paycheck. This is maybe some royalties or whatever the case is. So you take your income and then you subtract how much you're paying out every month. Now, these are all of your expenses. This is everything from rent, mortgage, to food, to clothes. And then what are you left with? Is it plus or minus? And now here's the key part. How do you feel about that number? Because if you're really honest with yourself, that's either a number that makes you happy or it's a number that makes you sad.
Most people don't know that number.
You're right. Ignorance is bliss again.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, you know, what are let's open this up.
See, I think it's interesting you say all that. I totally agree with it. And it's funny because if you look at it in Indian culture, or I guess mostly in Asian culture as well, it's totally opposite, where they end up just not enjoying the money at all, right? They, you know where I'm going with this. You know, like growing up, all of a sudden, save money, save money, save money. We can't spend money on this. It's just like even like the things that like it doesn't even really matter. It doesn't even like it costs like $2. Mm-hmm. But they're gonna spend like 30 minutes to get around it, rather than just using the $2 to fix it within like 5 seconds.
Yeah, right. It's fucking worth the $2. Trust me.
Right, exactly. And I think it's just like, especially Indians, like we just in the mindset of just saving money, that we are just always saving money and then just never end up using it or enjoying it.
Okay.
With that said, saving money, it's great. It's just that when you take it too seriously at a point where you just don't even enjoy your life, where it just ends up being a coasting up with that. So it's I feel like it's like exactly opposite of you said, and there's one of it is just we just keep spending money, while on the other side is just we just keep saving money. And
is that why our parents have money and we're broke?
Yep. Pretty much. Because they're made from two different generations.
I swear, man. Everybody, talk to your parents. I'm pretty sure they got money.
Yeah. And I think what it really comes down to is just finding that middle ground of both of them. It's like, hey, how can you be sensible enough where you take the knowledge that your parents are giving you for like saving money, you know, financial stuff and that. But then with us being a millennium, like just taking that and enjoying life as well. You just got to find your middle ground where you're pretty much not putting yourself down in the hole. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I wrote down a little bit earlier, Rohit, when you were talking. Do you want to save more or do you want to make more?
Oh. Huge difference.
Yeah, it kind of goes exactly to what you were saying, right? As your parents, when we're talking about older generations, they were in the mode of conservation. Save as much money as you can. Yeah. Your parents, especially Asian families, they probably save everything, don't they? Yep. Not just money.
No, yep. Everything.
Right? Church. You see what I'm saying? Right? Because they have a mindset that they're not going to get any more. They're not going to have it again. So we can't get rid of this. We can't sell this. We can't give this away. We can't donate it. We have to keep it all.
That lack mentality.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that changes in generations like ours, right? Where we are beginning to feel that we can make more. The drawback is we don't put plans around it. We just say, oh, I can make more money. I'll spend it all right now.
Yep.
So we get into this cycle of almost perpetual payday loan cycle with your income. You spend it, You make more, you spend it. You make more, you spend it. You charge more, you pay for it. Right? So now, every fucking paycheck, you're caught up paying rent, paying car payment or insurance or gas or food and credit card payment. And now you have no liquid. So week in and week out, you go in with no fucking liquid, no assets, no savings, and you don't know how to make more. You just think you have to work more or work longer or work overtime, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So do more of what you already admitted didn't work out in the first place.
It's not working out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle. It's a check to check mentality. You know. So yeah, definitely, it's dangerous, man.
Yeah, and I think that is potentially, I would say maybe I don't know if it's a poor mentality. I don't know. If we're saying poor versus broke, I would consider that a, kind of like you mentioned lack mentality, but there's another word I'm looking for. I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh, Rio's thoughts.
Yeah.
That's really it. Yeah, no, go ahead, take notes.
So in Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's famous for the cash flow quadrant, and it's really 4 different ideas that you identify with. So one is income, right? How much money do you have coming in? 2, you have to take out your expenses, and what he counts expenses are rent, food, fun, clothes, things like that.
Okay.
And then you have to take a look at your assets. So assets are more of your long-term investments like stocks, real estate. And then you've got your liabilities, mortgage, credit cards, things like that. So what he talks about is the flow of your cash. And the middle class, or let me even go back.
I think I remember not reading, but hearing or listening to the podcast or the audio cassettes. I don't know why I said audio cassettes. We don't even have those anymore.
What's a cassette?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I downloaded those ones exactly on that. It was really interesting.
You played it in his 92 Toyota Corolla with tape deck.
But what he says is like the poor class, what they'll do is they have money coming in and then money going out, right? The middle class, they have money coming in, and once it gets past their expenses, everything else goes to liabilities like credit cards and things like that. It's what keeps you in the middle ground.
Okay.
With the rich, what they're doing is they're focusing more on assets, things that are actually developing them. And one of my favorite financial plans is by Jim Rohn, one of my all-time favorite people. And he talks about his 70-10-10-10 rule. And I didn't even bring this up, but it's in...
Oh, we talked about this.
I think I've heard of this before,
we mentioned it before.
Yeah.
So 70% of your paycheck goes into living expenses. 10% goes into charity. 10% goes into short-term investments, and 10% goes into long-term investments.
In the 70% living expenses, you're talking... now, we're not saying if you
Income
make
and expenses.
$5,000 a month that your mortgage should be $4,000.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
35,
Yeah.
right? We're
Right,
saying
right.
that's everything. That's
Everything.
income, expenses, entertainment, food,
Yep.
all that.
Majority of the
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And most people, they're going to take a look at this and they're like, wait a minute, I don't even have 10% to give. First off, that says something about you.
You got to start the other direction.
Yeah.
You got to start.
Here's my
from the-
mentality.
Yeah.
And I'm probably interrupting you.
No,
So
you're
I'll
fine.
apologize, but I'm not going to stop. We've all had a 401k account.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Well, maybe not.
Maybe not.
An IRA, something. Right. Currently, I put 11% towards mine. I'm not afraid to share that. I don't notice it anymore. It's gone.
Yeah.
I started with that. Right? Don't tell me you can't afford to put 10% away to anything. Because first of all, before you even get your paycheck, more than 10% of it's gone. Taxes. Federal income tax, state income tax if you're in a state that does so. FICA, Social Security, benefits, medical, dental, vision, all that good stuff, right?
True.
That money is gone. You don't have a choice. You have a choice on some of the, you no longer have a choice on the medical benefits, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
You used to have a choice on the medical benefits.
Yep.
But that's money that's already gone. Treat these other 10s like that money.
Yeah.
Then the remaining will be the 70% that you can craft your life around. You don't need a home that's that big or a car that's that fast. Why do you need it? So I say we flip this around. We make this the 10-10-10-70 rule. And I'm actually scribbling that out right now and doing
It's
it
actually
as we speak.
interesting you say that. With that, when you're giving away or as a charity, you kind of get into a mindset of giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you're not thinking about impressing other people.
No.
You're pretty much like, oh, I need to give it away. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
And a part of it, I think it's where the karma comes in as well. It's the more you give out, the more it comes back to you.
Uh-huh.
And I believe there was, I'm going to totally blank out this, but there's the movie that I watched on Netflix, it kind of mentioned a little bit about
The Secret?
that. Yeah. Where it was like, the more you give out, and the more you're going to return back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the same thing. It's you just get into the mindset, and then you just stop worrying about impressing people, having one of the best things I want, and then you end up start saving money and put it to where it needs to be. And in the end, you're just gonna end up growing.
Yeah. I think it shifts your priorities.
Yeah,
It does. It does. A lot of times, a lot of people think about the things that they get, and it's all about impressing other people and whatnot. If you just curb back on that a little bit too, you know what I mean? If you spend $200 on clothes a month, spend $50. Go to Marshall's. Go to Ross. You don't need to go to Nordstrom's. You don't need to go to Macy's.
Mm-hmm.
If you're eating out every day, instead of spending $20 on a steak, spend $5 on a salad. Make you feel better too. So little things like that. That was one of the biggest things for me was knowing that I have a huge move that I'm gonna make, and I need to save money for this trip, and I need to save money to move back home. Things like that. I start to curb myself. I can only spend this much money on food. I can only spend this much money on comic books, because I still buy comic books, but I don't buy $200 worth of comic books every damn week.
Like you used to.
I buy 10, 13, 15, things like that. It still makes me happy, for one, because I still get to enjoy my vice, but it doesn't break the bank. So that 70% starts to look more like 50%.
I think there's an important...
And then those bigger percentages can go towards other things like savings and charity, things like that.
I think there's an important question to ask. I wrote it down here, and Emily and I discussed this as well, does this add value?
Right.
Oh, that's
Right?
cool.
Yeah.
And I discussed that in a lot of aspects. Does it add value to me? Does it add value to you? For Emily and myself, does this add value to our relationship? Right? Babe, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call myself out too. I'm going to call us both out because I'm going to refer to a specific instance. Does a $130 pair of Lululemon yoga pants add value to our relationship?
I would say possibly yes.
Absolutely.
Clearly it does.
She got a lot. She don't need no more.
All right, then
So no, it absolutely does not. Does a $200 pair of Jordans add value to our relationship?
No.
Absolutely not. Does it even add value to me? No, it's
Not if you're not wearing it.
It's nostalgic,
Yeah.
right? It's the same reason why those fucking little ass Nintendos are selling like hotcakes right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And the new SNES jump ball about to come out. Does the yoga pants add value to her? No, because a lot of times they just sit in a fucking drawer. And she wears the same 5 pairs that she really likes, and the other one she gets just because.
Rocking and stocking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
So that's $330, right?
Right?
Last week, we went to dinner at El Gaucho. It was $265
Yes, it was.
before tip, right? I left a $50 tip because I think that if you do a good job, especially at a place like El Gaucho, it's not just a server, it's an experience, right? They do a fantastic job and they deserve 20%. So it was a little over $300. For one meal, that's fucking expensive, right? There was a time
Unless if you're rich.
There was a time in my life where I was spending $3 on a meal, right? And I thought, I don't want to spend more than $3.
There was a time in your life when that was half a paycheck.
I'm gonna get 2 McChickens. I'm gonna get 2 McChickens and some fucking sweet and sour sauce on the side before McDonald's started charging 39 cents for the sweet and sour sauce.
Babe, you want some
Right.
fries? You want some fries, don't
So,
you?
yeah. So when you think about it, that's a huge step, right? 100 times the cost of what I used to spend on a meal. Mm-hmm. Now, to be able to do that is phenomenal, right? That's amazing. So to really think about the fact that I'm not saying I can go every Friday night and spend $300 on dinner and not bat an eye, because that's some shit. That's too much money.
Set it straight.
But the fact that we were able to do it, and it provides value in our relationship. At that point, cost is less important. It's a number. But if I'm spending that $300 on a pair of Jordans and a pair of Lululemon yoga pants, that's just going broke. If I spend that $300 on dinner, I'm enriching myself. Mm-hmm. It's an investment in me. Yeah. It may not be an asset as described in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but it's an investment in a relationship, in myself, in my significant other. So to me, those types of things are very important. So I asked that question, does this provide value? So yes, absolutely. And it's just like that, I believe does. So instead of saying, oh, we shouldn't spend that much money on dinner, we need to buy groceries and paper towels and I need a new pair of yoga pants, I need a new pair of shoes. Yeah. No. Don't skimp on those types of things. I'm a firm believer that you cannot put a price tag on an experience, and that's an experience that is absolutely enriching.
And if you think about it this way and just switch up your mentality a little bit, the money that you're saving on, let's say, $300 pairs of shoes and $300 pair of Lululemon yoga pants.
And a $400 Lululemon jacket.
And a jacket. You know, you're talking about $800 right there.
Easy.
And you're spending $300 on dinner. You still technically have $400 if you just
and I'm getting
curb
so
yourself
much
a little
more
bit.
out of it, right?
Exactly.
It's not even tangible. I can't feel it or touch it or see it or smell it. But well, I ate it. That shit was delicious. And the first thing I thought when I took a bite into my steak was, damn, sucks to be a vegan. I'm not trying to hate, but I was like, damn, because I did my little stint as vegetarian for a little while. It was a challenge. That's for damn sure. I want to see what it was like. I believe there's something in it, but man,
it is tough.
Tell you what,
it is tough.
It was a good steak. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track, but that was where I had to go with that. He was making me think. I think that's a very important question. When you're spending money, you can ask yourself, does this provide value in myself, in my family, in my loved ones, in my relationship, in my friendships, whatever that is? Does it provide value? If not, you're probably wasting money.
Going broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just in as we wrap this up, there's two things that I find really valuable. So like you were saying, Kamal, initially when it comes to charity and donations and stuff like that, you're just not in that mindset. So you'll be somewhere, PetSmart does this all the time. Mm-hmm. Would you like to donate $1 for this? Yep. No, thank you. You know, people say it all the time. So after watching The Secret and learning more about money through some of these books, now anytime I'm asked for a donation, like at Taco Bell or PetSmart or whatever.
Because that's going to be your first one.
Taco Bell gives you a free taco, though.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I know.
Beginning, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
really? I still have coupons in my car.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm donating every time now.
Yeah.
It's around March that they do their big graduation
and
fundraiser. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did it too recently. Safeway does cancer.
Yeah.
Can we go one episode about not hearing Taco Bell for real?
Sorry. Go ahead. My bad. I got excited and wanted to jump in part of the conversation. Go ahead.
So here's what I do. So Sam, go ahead and ask me if I'd like to donate.
Would you like to donate $1 to Taco Bell's Kids Under Pressure?
Okay.
Rohit, would you like to donate $1 to our cause today?
Heck yeah, I would. And I get super excited like that, right? Yeah. And they're like taken back because these poor people hear nothing but rejection day in, day out, right? And so now I'm like, yeah, I'd like to donate. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then whatever they say, oh, would you like to order, would you like to donate $1, $2, $3? I was like, let's go 3. Like, I get so excited. Yeah. And it helps them up. And not only that, but it makes me feel amazing. Because now I'm directly seeing, like, a free impact that I could do. Me giving away, $1, I'm never going to know what that dollar resulted into, what the ROI is or whatever. but seeing this person be like, wow, like someone actually said, yeah, let's do it. And sometimes they ring a bell or something like that, or they all say thank you.
And they sing a song.
So I'm the opposite of you.
Oh.
I'll donate, but I don't even think about it, right? Because they don't ask a lot of times. It's on the screen now, right? Unless you pay cash.
Yeah.
It's on the screen. Boop. And I always just donate. It pops up. Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 5, and 10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I just always hit like $1 or $2 or whatever, right? I do it every time. And they get excited. They're like, oh, thank you for your donation today. And they ring a bell, and I'm like, oh, shit, what did I do? Yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't I? It's a fucking $1.
Yeah.
It's not just affecting you, it's affecting others
I'm
as
able
well.
to be, I'm able to be here and buy groceries, right? Instead of fucking corn pops, I'll get puffed corn, and I'll give $1 to something that makes more sense.
And how good do you feel afterwards?
Fantastic.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I think this is phenomenal, and I wish I could remember where I heard it from. Kyle, I think this is right up your alley because of the conversations that you and I have. So say right now I'm in a job where I'm making, let's say, $2,000 a month, right? So I'm not going to play it safe because that's a stupid low amount. If you're making $2,000, you really need to listen to this podcast.
Good call. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I've been struggling.
So we're gonna bump it up. So say you're making $60K a year, right?
Money.
If you're making $60K a year, you're going to base your lifestyle, following a lot of these rules, around $60K a year. So you're going to have certain expenses and whatnot, you know.
Kind of stacks.
And now, say you get a raise, a 5K raise. So now all of a sudden you're making $65K. What the majority of the people are going to do, 97% of the population, is going to say, oh, now I've got a little bit more money to play with. Instead, because you don't know that 5K more exists. It means nothing to you right now. So automatically set up in your bank account rules, because you can do that now, you know, go into BECU and set a rule that every month 5K automatically goes into savings or checking or whatever the case is. Because you don't know that money exists anyways. It means nothing to you.
You're already living comfortably at where you're at right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a tip of what I do, which I like to kind of see it, like I'll just share it.
Thank you.
My direct deposit doesn't go to my checking, it goes to my savings.
Nice.
So now when it's coming out of my savings, even though it just says savings, now I'm kind of consciously thinking about how much is coming out of my savings
That's
account.
Good call.
Now, it's just a matter of that name, checking versus savings. Essentially, it's the same damn thing.
So you start everything in savings.
Yep, and then
That's
if
awesome.
I want anything, I will transfer it to checking and then do it from
And
there.
you can only transfer so many times and shit like that, right?
Yeah, so now you're keeping up with it as part of your plan, that financial plan that you make up is how many times you do that and how much you do it.
Good call.
And that's just something that I do.
Yeah, I have mine split.
Yeah.
Obviously, the vast majority to my checking and then to savings, and then
Kind of how he was saying it.
yeah, and then everything else. Like a lot of times, I'll put more into savings and be more aggressive. But I have rules already set up that just automatically transfer to savings every time I get
I
a
didn't even know
deposit.
it existed. So that's
Yeah.
good information.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. That's fantastic. And I think the next thing, a whole nother episode, we're going to wrap up here. I'm going to do the 2-minute takeaway in just a moment, is possibly to talk about how much money you're losing by letting that money sit in your savings account. That's a whole nother story. And I ain't no financial analyst, but I'm just saying, you got to do something with it. You got to do something with it. It can't just sit there. You're losing money
Yep.
sitting on it.
Money making money.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for,
the 2-minute takeaway.
with your host,
Kyrie.
Kyrie? What am I, Kyrie Irving?
Man, y'all gotta tell me sometimes, like,
I didn't
gotta
know
get
you was doing
excited
it
about
either.
this shit.
Come
Then
on,
let
man,
me
it's
know. I'm gonna
improv.
get excited.
It's improv. You know,
ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time for 2-minute takeaway with Kyrie.
y'all are ridiculous.
I hope this gets
If I wasn't
deleted.
so sunburned, you'd be able to see I'm turning red right now.
People on YouTube are just
This is like,
dying
what
right
the
now.
hell are you doing?
Man, those guys are fools.
Darker than Kamal.
Take it away, Kyle.
Oh,
So get
Oh.
it.
Our
So
pizza.
Pizza's here.
2-minute takeaway. So today's episode was all about being poor versus being broke, and how poor is a mindset and broke is in a state of time, right? It's an instance. It's a scenario. Ignorance is not bliss. So when we're talking about money, you need to know where your money's going, what it's going to. Today, some of our money went to pizza.
Yep.
Right? Because it's convenient and it's building value in our relationship. We're about to have a meal together.
And you're actually doing a charity to us.
Doing a charity to y'all.
There
Yeah,
you go.
charity to my
Ain't no
broke-ass
charity here. I
podcast
gotta Venmo
homies.
this dude.
Yeah, you do. God damn it.
I got you.
Yeah, I'll play. So those are a couple of things that we talked about. Follow the 10-10-10-70 rule.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. We're gonna link to all of the books that we discussed in the podcast episode today on our website, as well as a few other things. The Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad expense quadrant, income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. So take a look at that. And then one big thing that helped me a shit ton, I will say, is asking yourself that simple question before you spend money: is, does this add value to my life, or to my relationships, or to my friendships, to my family? If not, why are you doing it? And I'm not saying that it's not okay to every once in a while have a selfish expense. If you want a pair of shoes, get yourself a pair of shoes.
There's a reason why
But
people
it
have
is
65-inch
important.
TVs.
Exactly. It is important to ask yourself, if you have a habit of buying a brand new pair of shoes every week, or the new TV as soon as it comes out, it is too easy to fall into that habit. So ask yourself a question every once in a while: is, does this provide value? If not, maybe you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that money is better spent elsewhere or invested elsewhere.
Comes down to needed versus wanted.
Need it or want it, right? Time tell. So thanks again. We went a little bit long today. I think you're going to get some great value out of this week's episode. I'm going to hit you with all of our social media sites and portals. And Rohit's playing some music downstairs right now.
Sam's getting mad at me.
GYSTpodcast.com. Get your shit together. No, man, it's just good background noise, player. We're good.
The Pizza Hut driver subscribed to our podcast. Like while I was
There
like
we
signing
go.
up
Shout out
stuff.
to the Pizza Hut man. What's his
Yeah.
name? Billy?
Michael.
Charles. Michael.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michael.
Thank you,
the Pizza
Michael.
Hut man.
Appreciate it.
I hope his name was Michael.
You asshole.
He was a white guy.
I was like, okay,
Michael's a white guy.
I was like, let me write Michael the pizza guy. Just shout out for him on the GYST.
Take it away and
podcast.
tune in next week.
Sam's so mad at me right now. I didn't think you'd be able to hear it all the way up here.
Oh, I hate y'all.
It's like, I'm glad I'm moving away.
Stepping on somebody's phone.
Still doing it.
I dropped it on the ground, so it'll be out of sight, out of mind.
We didn't get a moment of silence either.
Yeah, we did at the beginning.
Yeah. Not at the end.
Why do we
it at
need
the
to do it
end.
at the end?
Oh, okay. We'll find out. All right.
It's like 10 degrees difference between those. Yeah.
Oh my god, I dropped all the books!
Oh, that was epic.
Yeah, at the beginning. Oh.
Not at the end. Save project.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to our GYST podcast. We hope you learned how to get your together.